Under what section, Tom?
I'm just wondering, I want to get, well, some of it's just a follow-up to things I brought up.
Okay,
The status of the fire hall at ceiling that I brought up, and also the communications pole. And I want to have an in-camera meeting. I'm going to explain in camera, I guess.
yeah, I think that might be a good idea.
Yeah, I just, wherever you want to put that, I
I
guess.
think there's usually any camera on the agenda, is there not?
There's a space
Yeah,
for it.
10.0, Tom?
Yeah, that would be your in cam.
Yeah, 10 point, yeah.
Okay. All right, anyone else have additions to the agenda? No? May,
Where are you putting Tom's other items?
under business arising, I think would probably be the appropriate place, because it would come from the minute. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the agenda with
Second.
the additions? Thank you, Randy. Thank you,
Gloria took
Gloria.
it, yeah.
Oh, yes, in visitor information center status, that's from me. So, are you, the mover and seconder, willing to add that to your agenda?
Yes, I am anyway, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so the minutes, do we have any errors or omissions from the minutes of January the 15th? No, no. May I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we
Thank
approve
you.
those.
Thank you, Gloria. So moved by Tom, seconded by Gloria. No objections. Moved, approved unanimously. Business arising, 5.1. No, yes. Municipality of Chester's Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Advisory Committee Representative Nomination. So we've had an official letter from the municipality asking us to participate. Heather was kind enough to go to the meeting. Did you go or not?
I did. That was
Okay.
on the 4th. The next one is next week on the
Okay.
25th.
But that's really not a staff role. That should be a role of one of us as commissioners. I have an external committee. Randy has an external committee. Would anyone be willing to step forward to take on that?
How many
committee?
meetings do they have, Geraldine?
I believe it's once a month, Heather.
It is.
Yeah. It does fit in very closely with the accessibility committee, but I don't feel at this particular time I can take anything on because I have a lot of other sticks in the fire.
And what kind of day of the week is that? Sorry, just,
It's Tuesdays.
yeah, that's fine. I'll,
Will you take that on, Laura?
Yeah.
Thank you. So Heather, you'll get her all the information that she needs to know. Okay, the flower basket survey results, you've all had the opportunity to read them. Essentially, a majority said the flower baskets are fine. There were a lot of other suggestions, all of which I think that we need to take into consideration. For instance, Gloria, as you all know, came up with the idea of combining the idea of baskets and what do we call them?
Planters.
Planters. And, you know, there's lots of ways to go, but we have to keep it a budget. But that's something for us to be working on in terms of ideas over the next, say, 8 months until we settle on what our prospect for the next budget year is. Keeping in mind that we need to order the flowers by November, Heather?
Yeah, late October.
Late October, okay, so if we do decide for us to go with planters as well as baskets, we'll have to know how many and.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
already ordered for this.
Yeah, we know
Yeah,
that.
they're
yeah.
ordered for this year, so we're carrying on. But I think perhaps what we might want to do is take one meeting and just go through, just completely attend to that survey only. Does anybody feel that it's important enough to do that, or do you just feel each of us can read it thoroughly and then use that when we come to the discussion of the planters and baskets and whether we want to go in different directions? We don't need to make a decision until the fall.
just reading it, like,
Okay,
that'd be right.
all right, good. Well, thank you for your work on that, Heather.
Could I just make one other point on the baskets?
Yep,
There was an order to where they went and they've been moved all over the place and I could work with Heather. I can get all the poles of where they're supposed to go.
oh, good plan.
So
How did you do that?
my sister-in-law did it first. I asked Brenda, Brenda, do you still have all the poles and all that where they're supposed to go? And she said, yeah. I said,
Because I
okay.
figured they just went wherever the hangers were.
No, but they start moving the hangers around.
Oh,
And
I
there's
see.
a couple of places where they shouldn't be. I wouldn't be on the number 3, there's a few places, really isn't safe.
Okay, to water them, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll give you the list and
Great.
okay, where did the heck did new business go?
It's on the other
Well,
side.
Tom, you do your business arising and then, oh, is it on the other
Yeah.
side? Okay, oh, yeah, 2 pages, okay, never mind. Okay, from business arising, Tom, you wanted to talk about the ceiling.
well,
and the-
yeah, well, there was 2 things. One, the first thing that's most important was that pole. Has it been fixed that was covered, it isn't covered by insurance because we didn't fix it.
Yeah, nothing's been happened with that pole so far. It's been brought to the committee. There is a budget in their upcoming fiscal to do some maintenance work around the existing hall. Like there's some work that needs to be done on the roof, for example, in that room. So it's on their list, shall we put it that way.
Yeah, that you brought up roof. Are we talking the roof or a ceiling?
There's a leak in the roof.
In the roof itself?
Yeah.
I can ask my brother, that roof has a lifetime guarantee on it. And you cannot get up and walk around on the roof.
Oh, I know, they've mentioned that.
They know that it's.
They know that.
That there is a way to do it without getting into a lot of expense. And I forget, I have to ask Paul because he was involved, but you have to bring in someone that will oversee where you're walking. To keep the warranty, because that's a pricey roof.
Well, if the fire committee is aware of it, because it's kind of out of our purview now.
Well, I gotta ask a question. Do we own the building?
We do own the building.
So we're the landlord.
Yeah.
We should be doing it.
But all the expenses of the building are covered by, under the fire
Under the
budget.
agreement, yeah.
I know, but we're still the landlord. I mean, if there was a problem in this building,
Mhm.
we'd be going to the landlord. So we should be doing it. We're responsible for it.
Well, we're responsible for it because we give them the money to do it. So now it's their job to actually do the function. We've given them the money to do it. We provide.
I hear you. I have to think about
$700,000.
that one.
Yeah. I know it's.
Ultimately, it's gonna come back on us if there's a problem.
Well,
We're
they're,
the owners.
yeah, they're aware of it and we have provided them with the funds to manage the building.
Okay,
So-
next meeting, can we get a timeline from them? If it's a leak in a roof, it ought to get
Yes.
fixed.
Yep.
And that aerial, that should be covered. That should be fixed. We got the insurance money for it. I think it was 40 grand.
What's the timing on that, Tom?
Well, this is what I'm wondering. I keep bringing it up. It's, I'll tell you why the whole thing happened. The man had a tarpaulin shed over their boat. And they kept leaving the door open. And we said, you can't leave the door open. Oh, no, we got it covered. Well, we got a windstorm. That went over. Tore siding off the fire hall and broke the aerial.
The tarp did?
The whole thing, yeah, you
Oh.
can't leave them open. It just goes like a sail.
the
It
shed,
just
oh.
went took off.
Yeah.
And,
Cloth shade.
I understand that where it ended, I wasn't on the commission, but they were gonna hook it up to the East Link Tower. And for some reason, the fire chief of the day didn't want it done. So there it is, sort of, I don't know, it was board strapped and taped to it. But we got the $40,000 in the insurance, should be fixed. Shouldn't be.
What year was that?
If the
Jesus.
DeLoreans, that would
Hmm?
be what,
This gotta go back 5 years.
2017, 2018, somewhere in there, I think.
I mean, it should be fixed. Take it down or fix it or hook it up to the East Link Tower or,
I don't think they use it anymore.
Oh,
do
no,
they?
they do.
Oh, do
I
they?
did find, I was able to.
I was gonna say, I didn't think it was even used.
if they, I
They've got
didn't
it
think they did.
braced.
But if they're gonna use it, then it should be fixed.
Okay, well, Heather, find all that out. and
Where's the money?
tell us.
Just in the account?
Yeah, whatever happened to the money?
It must be in
5
reserve.
years ago. it's-
They have the money?
Yeah, it would be in reserves.
It would have to be in reserve. Unless somebody walked off with it.
With the heat on
5, 6
Geraldine, if
years
you're
ago,
cold,
who
and,
knows?
sorry, it was just when I couldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
She was
okay.
soft
No, I'm
spoken.
fine. I deliberately wore a warm jacket because usually by the end of these meetings, I'm a little popsicle.
Okay, and the
Are
only,
you happy with that?
yeah, the only other thing I had on my list was this ceiling inside the hall. Has that been fixed?
It has not, one of the members is apparently taking care of that, but
Well-
hasn't yet. And again, that's part of that.
We went to
Been
great
budgeted
pains
for
for
it.
years not to allow that to happen. We've gone in and we've seen where wiring has been done, plumbing been done, not up to code. They even caught them in the ambulance hall. And they've been told, you do not touch electrical, plumbing, or anything. You bring, it's a public building, you bring professionals in. So they shouldn't be fixing it. We should be
Okay,
paying
I'll
to
check again with-
have it done.
Who do we deal with for maintenance and things in the, like, who?
You'd have to
We-
RFP it
We
or
have, we
something. huh?
bring people in
Oh,
as
okay.
needed, so
All right.
the local
It's just,
suppliers.
it's Gyprock. It's Gyprock
Yeah.
ceiling.
Well, chip rock wouldn't
And-
be safety related, would it?
Well, you don't, yeah, I mean, you don't,
I mean, I
you bring
understand
in,
plumbing or
it should be
electrical.
done
Professional.
professionally.
Yeah, and they are bringing, like, the plumber who did the initial fix, I believe is meant to be doing some follow-up work,
Okay,
but last I heard, they didn't know.
okay,
when
and
it's
I
being
think we
scheduled.
need to clarify our role as the owner of the building. That now that Tom has brought it up, I will talk to Colin about that. And we'll.
Yeah,
sort that out.
we
Make a
definitely
point
own
that
it.
we need to talk to Colin
That may
about
very
that.
well be in the agreement, because from my recollection.
Okay,
the
then ask the
attorney-
lawyer to
Yeah.
clarify that and speak to me
Okay,
about it. That's an important point to be.
Yeah,
followed
I
up on.
just don't feel comfortable with.
Okay,
Okay, let's see, I think I've got. Yeah, that's.
You okay?
That's it, yep.
okay. Correspondence, the Association of Nova Scotia Villages, ANSV, is contemplating a staff position, and they are at that point in their organizational life where they do need some support. They're still vacillating between part-time and full-time. They're going about it, I think, in a very practical way. They're thinking the person could work out of a home office, or they could work out of one of the village offices. They're trying to keep the costs down. Sadly, they weren't able to say, they're asking the villages, do or you agree or don't agree. They weren't able to give us a cost estimate, how much we would have to donate to it. What I'm hoping that the commission will feel comfortable is to say to them, we think it's a good idea in theory, we support you, however, we'll make a decision when you tell us what it might cost us. At that point, we'll say yay or nay, but the theory is a good theory.
But they presented what they
Yeah,
think
they-
might be a
Yeah,
off the cuff budget for such a
well, they have their
person.
budget, but
60 grand
Yeah.
salary
what
and
they
various
didn't
other stuff.
say is how much it would cost each.
Oh, yeah, no,
village.
I agree, Geraldine, but I'm saying they do have it to the point
Yeah,
where they
yeah.
think
Yeah,
the person will cost this much to the organization.
yeah, it's well thought
How
out.
they split the
Yeah,
Split it
cost.
among the villages is the
Yeah.
issue, yeah.
yeah, so I personally feel great, it's a good idea, pursue it. Come up with an actual budget that would
Yeah.
cost each village, present it back to us, and at that point, we will make a
Mm.
decision.
Mm.
But we're willing to say, in theory, we
You like
support
the
your
idea?
position.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think the smart idea, they do mention in here that a lot of this person's work would be dealing with governmental MGA people and municipal affairs and stuff, trying to get us more recognized within the legal.
We're
department.
recognized, they came up when Heather and I were at St. Peter's. They've done a lot of work on their own. We are now finally recognized.
Yeah,
Yes,
But as they said, you gotta be a player, you gotta be at the table.
there'll be
Yeah.
ongoing
this-
need for someone to be
Yeah.
doing a lot of that stuff.
and,
Yeah.
and I think that as they become more well-known, it will help us establish our identity vis-a-vis the municipality. Because, you know, the whole village thing is just now coming really to
Yeah.
the fore, becoming more professional and so on. So I think that it's good for us if they can put it together in such a way that we feel that we can financially support them.
And to have our, the legal definitions and legal documents say village
Yeah,
and not council or municipal
Yeah.
or,
yeah,
so we're recognized as independent
Yeah.
entities.
And the
you know?
province apparently would rather deal with the group as opposed
of
to,
course. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
makes
well,
it
yeah,
easier
yeah,
than
they don't
dealing
like-
with 25 or 30
Yeah.
individual entities. But it definitely will help us, I believe, in the long run.
So
You
do
need a
we
motion on
reply
that?
or what?
Okay, I'm going to put a motion on the table
Oh, okay.
for people to consider. That the Chester Village Commission approve the job description for an Association of Nova Scotia Villages Staff Coordinator and agree in principle to contribute financially to the position dependent on the funding model proposed. Is everybody happy? Are you willing to move that, Gloria?
I'll
Thank
second
you.
that.
Thank you, Randy. Okay, well, that was an easy one to
Easy
go
one,
through.
yeah.
Okay, now we get to the clerk treasurer reports. Now, I want to make, an introduction to a particular section, and that is that I briefly mentioned to you all that Heather's hours are too much. And so I am working with her very diligently to try and cut down on some of it, but it's not that she's not going to do the report, she's gonna do all of her reports. But sometimes, just because she's waiting for other people, other piece of information, blah, 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 the reports will not necessarily be printed and available on Fridays. The agenda will always be available on Friday afternoons, but not necessarily all the documents that support it. Sometimes it could even be things other than the reports. Randy, you're very interested in the financials. Heather will always make sure that you get whatever she has as soon as she can get to it.
Thank you.
Okay. And anybody else who wants anything, all you have to do is tell Heather and she'll do her best. But what I'm trying to do is let her manage her time. As the reports will be available for the meetings, anybody who wants to see them can phone the office and see when they're ready, if you feel you need to see them in advance. But in general, what we'll expect is Heather will give her clerk treasurer reports at the meeting, but they'll be available for print for you to take away if you want them. Is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I manage to express myself correctly, Heather? Okay.
So basically, if you want hard copy, you've got to ask for it now. Is that basically? the
Basically,
idea?
yeah. And
Ahead of the
that-
meeting.
Well, yeah, if they're already available ahead of the meeting. I mean, that will be true for some other things as well, but,
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's more or less,
but she will target making the financial stuff available in advance, but I'm trying also to cut down on printing.
yeah,
We have too much paper, too much ink being wasted. I think if people feel that they need to see it in hard copy, I mean, you've mentioned that, you know, you like to have things in hard copy, then you ask rather than just having.
sure, that
everything
makes
printed.
sense. I can live with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like, that's a heck of a lot of paper and printing for, you
And we
know,
didn't need a lot of this stuff.
yeah, some of it.
I
you
can
do
read
need.
it online, but the basics of
Yeah.
the DEI commission, I
Yeah.
mean,
That,
I
that,
can read that
yeah,
online. Yeah.
that's what I was supposed to say. Everything will be provided online. But if you're particularly interested in one piece of paper, then ask Maxine or Heather and they'll print it for you. But there's no need for this. Really, it's just cluttering up the environment, you know?
Yeah, most of us, including me, leave them behind when they
Yeah.
go.
Okay, so reports, Madam Clerk Treasurer.
Okay, so, activity report. Code of conduct, there was an update received from the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities on the training, just a minor update, it's attached. Dates for the mandatory online module are still pending, and there has still not been an update from AMANS regarding the investigator shortlist, so we're still on a bit of hold for that. Nova Scotia Power tree trimming. Nova Scotia Power has long overdue tree maintenance work scheduled for Chester next month to lower the risk of power interruptions. The village is a commercial client of Nova Scotia Powers for all 200+ streetlights in the village, in addition to our buildings, but have not been notified of the pending work.
Which is naughty.
Yes, they know better now. There was some concern raised in the community, which I believe was organized around an email from a resident to other residents. As we know, Chester residents are protective of the urban canopy. Municipal Councillor Tom Bremner also received questions, and Mr. Dempsey, who was the, I'm sorry, I think I cut a bit, that was about him. Colin Dempsey is the forestry coordinator for Nova Scotia Power, so when I spoke to him, he had done a walkabout of the work sites with the initial resident and the councillor to show them, and that brought the temperature down. To get more detail on their plans, I spoke with Colton, but also one of their reliability advisors, Lisa Forsey. So she's forwarded some information about the plans, bit of a frequently asked questions document and a map that shows where all the sites are. So that is attached, and the work will begin the first week of March. So we'll do our best to share this information, obviously, with people in the village.
Like Power were taking pictures today. I went down around and come up here. I was going up by the doctor's office, old doctor's office. And Light Power was pulled over and he was looking out the window and he had binoculars out and then he had a camera and he was taking pictures of the trees.
They knocked on my door the other day.
There's another thing, we held a contract with Nova Scotia Power. How many people know that?
Yeah.
Contract with them.
It's way back
For
here.
all of the light
Yeah,
poles.
it's attached to the activity.
Oh, okay.
It's a different one.
So
Oh, that's the
each little
financial.
thing that we can
Right.
get out there,
Yeah.
it, you know,
Exactly.
it maybe seem relatively insignificant, but people need to
Oh.
know. The reason that you've got light bulbs
it.
over your head is because the commission provides them.
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't write this in here, they were open to the idea of a meeting if we wanted to do one, but
Who cares?
there's been a lot,
Yeah.
so. I think
You
they
would
were
have got,
crazy
you guys
the
talk
idea.
about turnout, you would have got 100 people. Big turnout.
Well, let's hope they don't screw this up and.
Yeah.
Just like the land use bylaw stuff. I didn't think
Yeah,
I'd
that's
see that many people in one place for a
Yeah,
public
stuff
meeting.
like, yeah, people.
Yeah.
Ever.
That was
In
a
Chester.
great people.
But it
So-
has to be something hot button. like
Well,
that,
they
you
come
know?
up to meetings where they think they can complain.
Well,
They don't
and
like
it has to be,
meetings where they don't
everybody
complain.
has to be up in arms
Yeah.
about
Or
something, you
cutting
know?
trees, they just don't.
Well, actually, Nova Scotia Power is a little bit better than Department of Highways. Department of Highways just comes slash and
Cut
burn.
through.
Oh, they're bad.
On the highway there, they
Yeah.
got that big machine that just eats everything all the way, right?
So is there anything further the
No.
commission would like to pursue on this matter?
Boy, that's a
Sounds
lot
good.
of spots now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tried to remind Nova Scotia Power that we pay the bill.
So if a citizen came up to me and says, Laura, what's going on? Who should I direct them to?
Heather,
They can call me and I can tell them what at least I do know.
Okay.
And I think Brad Armstrong and Tom were the front men on this, the
They are.
leads on this
Yeah,
stuff.
they're the ones who did
And,
the law.
Yeah.
and Julia Creighton was in there and different other people, you know,
yeah, but I mean.
John Howard Jones and, yeah.
See,
The
Tom
regular.
steps over
Yeah,
the
yeah.
line there. Tom doesn't have anything to do with the power. We pay the power. It's our bill. I mean, you know,
He just wants to lend his weight perhaps to.
no, he likes to have his picture taken.
Well, yes, of course, but he is taking it seriously. I must
Recording is
say.
on, people, just gentle reminder.
It's not me this time.
Okay, property maintenance, oh, that's funny, we were just talking about this. The Chester Fire Services Committee's draft budget contains some capital maintenance funds for repairs to the existing building. Giblot Eastern Fence did a site visit and has prepared an estimate for a replacement fence. which will be included in the village's draft budget.
I'm sorry, who's giving that?
Eastern Fence.
Eastern Fence.
Well, they've already done that.
Yeah,
right?
they've done it.
Okay.
Yeah, they came in, we did a very windy cold walk around.
Was that up at the old Windjammer or the Jib Lot?
The Jib Lot.
Oh, the Jib Lot.
One of the decorative entrance fences fell over, I think it was last week. So Gibby has done a temporary repair to it, but he warned that the base of the fence is rotten, so it may not last.
It'll have to be.
They originally, Eastern Fence originally put that one in as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like to run these things sometimes past Fred, who's the engineer at the municipality, just to see if he has suppliers he would recommend, and he said these guys are great, and the pricing from others would likely be very similar.
So that is a wooden fence, right?
It is
The
a wooden
wooden one,
fence, and they're
Couldn't we go with wrought iron?
one of the,
Got to
Again,
paint it.
that's a half-day job. They'll put it in.
Yeah.
They're big. expensive.
But if you put iron or
It's nothing
metal,
to
you have
paint
to
them.
paint.
I've painted them.
Yeah,
Painted them for
well,
9 years.
But I think it was possible with wood,
Well,
probably.
they left it, I think it's cedar, they left it and let it weather. There's no
Yeah.
maintenance.
Yeah, I like the idea of weather and.
I think it's.
Cedar doesn't rot either.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Shall I move on to the financial?
You may.
Just a question,
Yes,
Heather,
of course.
just quick. I see you mentioned code of conduct on this handout here. I have yet to see anything saying when we'll have our online module.
Yeah,
Have you seen anything recently?
the most recent thing I've attached to my
Okay,
report.
it
so
says
they still
in
don't have
near
dates.
future is
Yeah.
what they're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, for near
I was
future
half
for quite a
expecting
while.
I would have.
That's
heard
within the
something.
year, Randy.
Yeah.
I
Excuse
was half
me, yeah.
expecting I might hear something.
I thought that's
yesterday,
why I
but
asked you.
didn't.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay, so financial report.
Financial.
Scotiabank, the
Yeah.
January bank statements have been reconciled. And account balances as of February 3rd were. So I'll just, we've received the fourth quarter tax advance, so this is, we've received everything that's gonna.
We're into Q4 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Q3 investment statements to December 31st were received from the bank, and I did attach those. Both the Lido and EHS building reserves have partial GIC maturation on April 9th. Standing instructions with the bank are to reinvest the funds, each time one of them rolls over to another 1-year GIC.
Yeah.
So unless anyone wants to change that, that's what I'll direct them. The next maturation is part of the operating reserve in July. Fire and emergency services budget, this is just a note about village staff costs under their budget. So under operations and administration, there's a line called management and admin fees, and that is 25% of the clerk treasurer and 50% of the admin assistant as per the international agreement and what's been the practice the last 2 years. An additional item under capital administration new station adds a further 15% of the clerk treasurer time to the fire station capital project to more accurately reflect time spent that was tracked this past fiscal. Our legal advisor, John Cumming, has agreed this is possible under the agreement, and the fire committee has approved it on their end as we're working through. Mr. Cumming further noted that since the 2-year administration arrangement is up in October of this year, a new agreement for village staff hours can be negotiated. The fire committee has indicated their willingness to continue the relationship, and they've asked for a formal motion to be brought at the next meeting. Note that prior to the intermunicipal agreement, hours were often budgeted to village and fire 50-50, or sometimes 60-40, but 40 village and 60 fire. We're talking about 40 village, 60 fire. So, and then we'll obviously continue to track and see how it's looking,
Yeah,
especially.
it will change with
Mhm.
the time of the year and so on, but I think that the split with the additional 15% is fair for this year, and we'll keep good track of it.
Yeah.
So
I
that
think
makes
this year was
40%
still-
of you.
Yeah,
Maxine stays the same.
Maxine's still 50%.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Uh,
and you've tracked hours to do this? Okay.
And this has got to stay in place for when? I got a problem with it. When do we discuss it?
It's, well, the
It's 20
contract
years,
will,
it's not till 2042.
The
The
agreement.
agreements are.
We
20
owned
years.
100% of it. Now we own 50% of it and we got more administration time tied up in it. There's something wrong.
Yeah, the contract is 20 years. The agreement with village staff to administer it was for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Within that.
So
agreement.
when is that 2 years up?
October.
This October.
I thought it was
So I might as well
3.
keep my mouth shut till October. Is that what you're telling me?
Well,
We'll discuss it sooner.
if they wanted to change anything, they would have to notify us within 6 months, which is why they want me to bring a motion forward to confirm they would like to continue.
Yeah,
And then we can negotiate our
Can
time.
you put that on the agenda when we would discuss that?
Yeah.
I would like to.
we'll discuss that well in advance of
Good.
October.
For sure. Village budget status, so the village draft budget document is well underway and will be ready for discussion in the coming days. We're still gathering some costs. It is recommended that similar to last year, budget meetings be held in committee of the whole to allow for more in-depth discussion, because then it can just be a single issue
Yeah.
meeting, and so we could schedule a date next week if people are.
Well, that's why you have committee of the whole at the end of the
With
agenda
question
there,
mark,
whatever,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, we'll have to work around Gloria's
Yeah.
trip.
The municipality has now provided the 2025 property assessment figures. I just got those yesterday. To calculate expected revenue. Their projection is, and I've got the figures there, providing a 2.67 increase in revenue if the rate is unchanged.
And so they're going to go with that, the 2.6 raise?
It's not so much a decision from them, but the assessment, when I got the figure, I just compared it with last year's, and the difference is 2.67.
Oh, okay, okay. And that includes the fire assessment? Like-
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and however, the consumer price index, CPI for 2024 is 2.3. So that amount I'll be applying to a lot of the expense items across the board, but we always
Okay.
talk about that when we go through.
Yeah.
Results from the commission's strategic priorities consideration and the flower basket survey will also inform the budget, as we know if we need to print newsletters, we'll put that in the budget, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all, other than I just put a copy of the investment report. Although the more accurate today figures are on the chart at the top.
Yeah. Hopefully, we will not be impacted too much by Mr. Trump and his associates.
Lord, that's.
All our budgeting could go right out the window with the tariffs.
It's a big concern, especially when the.
Oh, I
capital
bet,
side.
when you're
Yeah.
trying to figure out the financials, it's a really good. Anyway, at this point, there's not much we can do, but we may have to have a budget adjustment at some point.
There may well be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, all we can do is do the best we can.
Of
on
course,
that.
of course.
It's out of our control.
We
We just have
always
to live
know-
with it.
The budget is our best guess at that moment in time.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Certainly, we had to come back with revisions during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always amused by people who think that the budget is written in stone. And I always say, it's just, yes, it's just,
This is
again,
your-
We don't
it's a
wanna go-
guide.
We don't wanna go way out of whack.
I'd want this
Well, we're
phone
not
back.
allowed to
I
go
have
into
to-
deficit, so it is
Yeah.
important to stay within the envelope.
Yeah, the envelope.
We can't just borrow the money like the government can.
Yeah, we are the government.
Go into deficit or something, we're just not allowed to do that. And
So, sorry, before we leave that, do we want to try to schedule a meeting now, or shall I just contact everybody about a date?
how long are you going? 2
Geez,
weeks?
19 days. or
16
something,
days.
was it 15 days?
I will be back on March. Just wait now. March 8th.
We probably should have a first meeting before that.
I'm inclined to agree.
I
with
have
that.
to say,
Yeah.
that's a little bit too far in the
Like
future. for
maybe
me.
next Wednesday, a week from today, would that work?
Let me see what I got. Good, what did we do with it, these
And that
phones?
won't be necessarily, that's just an hour probably, right? It's the
Well,
CLW or?
this will be kind of going
Going
line
through
by
line by
line.
So where are we now? 19th? Okay. I
19th.
can't do Thursday next week. So far I'm clear. That's Friday, Thursday.
But you're good on the
Oh, we're talking
26th.
about a daytime
Yes,
meeting.
yeah.
Get my calendar.
The only thing I got wrong is the
Like saying
27th, I got
If
blood
it was
tests.
next Wednesday at the same time we normally meet.
Of course, I'll have that done by
Yeah.
time anyway, so it won't matter. I'm doing it over here, I think, yeah. So you,
Wednesday, the
Because
other-
You
there will
say
very likely be
Wednesday?
Items that you guys have to decide if you want to go ahead with, so.
well, yeah, do we have
So
to
is
make
it gonna
motions
be a
or
whole
anything or what?
afternoon?
Not at this meeting, this
No.
meeting's more of a working session.
Okay.
Well,
and can I-
Laura has a pretty heavy schedule. Is there any day that doesn't work for you?
No, if it's next Wednesday, that's fine.
You
Okay, well, next,
6
Wednesday,
o'clock
I'm pretty
for
sure
an
I'm good.
afternoon.
What date is Wednesday?
The 26th.
26.
26th, yeah, okay.
Is it afternoon or evening?
Do you folks?
I don't know, want to do it 2 o'clock or something?
Yeah, because then that way Heather doesn't have to stay late. 2
Okay,
o'clock?
I'll send around an invitation, thank you.
Okay, so February 26th at 2, right?
Yep.
And can I make a
So
suggestion?
what are we doing? Both the village and the fire? Is that the,
No, just the
No, just the
village.
village.
when do we do the fire?
Fire will come, Kirk will be coming to present that at our next meeting. Because the version that we
Okay.
have now will be updated a bit, because now we have the.
This is preliminary budget, I'm sorry,
This is
stuff.
the committee of the whole.
Yeah, then what we're doing
Just
next
village.
This is the
Wednesday,
village mission, village budget.
Yeah,
it's budgeting, okay. No, I just want to put something,
The fire people presented their preliminary draft budget at their AGM. And
there'll be a.
and then they're
a more
bringing it to
refined
us and to
version.
council.
Yeah, Kirk will bring.
Can I make a suggestion and you just? gonna
No.
say- Okay.
You're
No,
out of order.
So we all come with you on your.
you can all come with me, okay?
Yeah. Can we go
No,
with your
for in
suitcase?
March, could we move the week, our meeting to the 12th? Instead of the 19th, because I will be home and I could make the meeting, that way I won't be missing so much.
What is it in March?
Here, do you want to see my
The
calendar?
12th.
So it's
12th is
Tuesday
not a
and
Wednesday.
A Wednesday, yeah,
So when would it normally have been? Oh,
on
I
the
see.
19th.
Oh, okay.
The second week.
Yeah, it'd be the
Instead
second
of
week,
the 19th,
at
it'll be the 12th.
12th, yeah.
Do you want to look here?
You find me if it's.
He's
after?
looking at my
Oh, I see.
Might have
Okay.
meeting pack the day before, but that's about it, yeah. If
I'm
there's anything gonna happen, they cancel.
Okay,
this
March,
one.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
March
March
12th.
12th, yeah.
Did some heavy duty shit happen until the end of last.
Everybody
year.
okay with March the 12th?
Sure, and this is for a regular meeting, right?
Yeah.
This regular
6
meeting. Will you-
o'clock.
Will you
Six.
send that calendar item around, Heather?
I will.
Okay.
And, just wait now, just wait.
Oh,
I'm not-
now you're buggering everything
Yeah,
else up,
just-
are you?
And we could do the same with April, that way I won't be missing the meetings and
So
we
you
won't
wanted
be
April the
behind.
9th, right,
Yeah.
the 16th?
Yeah,
Okay, everybody okay with that?
At
It's
this
just-
point, but.
yeah, it's just the second week instead of the
Yeah,
third week.
it's hard for me to go too far ahead.
Yeah, that's good, that's it, that stops
And
there.
Easter's on the 20th, so that's not
Yeah.
a terrible idea.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm sorry, April 9?
April 9th.
yeah, that misses Easter week.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
So
send
this is
these all
what, our
around
regular
tomorrow.
meeting then, April 9th?
Yeah, just,
Gloria's bringing treats.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you come and feed us, Gloria, because you're being mean. to
Yeah.
us.
Coffee, treats. and-
Yeah, yeah.
cause
I
then 2 days later, I leave again.
The world traveler.
But I will, I mean, that way I'm not missing
Yeah.
everything, and if it's okay with everybody else, but if not, we'll just go on and I'll just miss the meetings, that's
Yeah.
fine. I just
Yeah, as
have
long
to
as
pick
it
up
works with everybody's
Yeah.
schedule.
So April, you say is now what?
the 9th,
Okay,
Week
okay.
before,
yeah,
you'll get an invitation.
They're
I'll
both
send
a
the-
week early.
yeah,
I just like to know so I don't schedule something that, you know.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll send.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
okay.
That's why I'm not
Okay,
missing
so then next is just Chester Fire Services Committee minutes for information. So the last couple of approved ones. Advisory.
Oh, yeah, so I am the person on the accessibility committee for, I guess it's the I always think that I'm so used to thinking of the Chester municipality, but in fact, it's the Lunenburg County. But I represent the commission, and they've been working really hard on the Lunenburg County strategy for an accessibility action plan. They've been a little bit held up because there's empty seats on the advisory committee, and only the mayors in meeting can appoint new people, so there's like a little plug there. But I've been keeping a booklet here of all of the activities, but you guys don't need to know it. But if anybody ever does want to read it, I always have this binder with me. And they do good work. And here's the thing, it's legislated that we as a government are bound by this. So anything new we do must be accessible.
What might be one example of something that
Tourist
you
information center.
for access, being accessible?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, what did they call it? Built structures or built?
Yeah,
I think
Something,
we
yeah.
already have a
Build
rule in the
standards, those-
municipality that if you build a new building or 80% of it's renovated, it has to be accessible.
yeah, it's not the municipality rule, it's provincial
Oh, is it
legislation.
provincial?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
The
so
building code.
whether they like it or not, they have to.
Do
But
it.
What's
the
fine?
areas of focuses are goods and services, transportation, built environment,
That's the word
the
I was thinking
buzzword.
of, yeah.
information and communications, employment and awareness. I don't know why they've got awareness separate from communication.
Hmm.
I'm on, I think I mentioned this before, I'm on the provincial committee for the standards development for information and communications. And it's not so much about content, it's about form, like,
Yeah.
fonts and colors and things like
And
that.
braille or not
Oh.
braille.
Yeah, so that committee.
Oh, that's communication,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
that
then-
makes
yeah,
sense.
Like for instance, if you send an email to someone with visual
Mhm.
impact, then when the email comes up, the technology says email from so-and-so. So then they know.
Oh, it
who came
speaks,
from.
yeah.
Like Ellen, the coordinator,
Yeah.
was saying at the last meeting that it's better for her to get an email than to get a document.
Yes.
The screen reader works better.
Yeah, and then they can read, and then you just have to train yourself in meetings, Zoom meetings, you have to train yourself to say, this is so-and-so speaking, and,
Oh, interesting.
because it's something you need to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not used to
It's not- yeah,
interacting
it's
with
not
people who have a
instinctive.
disability one way or the
Yeah.
other, yeah.
It's quite useful, it's interesting.
Okay,
And. Sorry, Randy, there wasn't a meeting.
yes, exactly. I was about to say that as the representative on planning advisory, there was no February meeting because we had cleaned up basically what was on our plate to do with the land use bylaw by the end of January. It had to be done. We moved our stuff forward. There was nothing new to do. So the meeting was canceled
Right.
at that point, as far as, so there's no minutes. Well, actually, maybe the minutes from the December meeting or January
We won't
meeting.
get that.
Yeah, yeah, well, that's the problem. They backdate their bloody minutes.
I don't know.
You
why
don't get them till
people don't-
almost time for the next meeting.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
was brought up in the procedure that minutes came out virtually instantly.
Oh,
after the meeting
yeah.
When people met memory refreshed, but now it seems like minutes come out right
A
before
year
the
later
next meeting.
sometimes.
Ah,
And I
geez.
find it very difficult to,
Memory's
recall.
gone, you can't.
Yeah.
Well, if any representatives of other boards and commissions are on that commission, they can't report to their people until almost
Yeah.
time for the next meeting. I mean,
Yeah,
They
I'm
might
always
want to
being
suggest that they
cranky
change.
about that.
well, I said,
Happens a
why
lot.
can't, well, Gareth said we probably can, but it won't be like the next day.
I'll just say one or
2
two
days.
quick things about the equity, diversity, equity, diversity and inclusion,
Laura took that.
Advisory committee, which Laura will take over, so I can brief you a little bit, but there will be, there's already starting to be some working together between accessibility and EDI. And some units are combining.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that.
Yeah.
The accessibility group is working with the equity.
So they work together pretty closely. They don't they won't be one thing because accessibility, they're way far ahead of that. But one thing you might want to be aware of is that Ellen and Jen, she's the regional anti-racism and diversity coordinator for Bloomberg County, same as Ellen, just the opposite. She and Ellen together have been doing drop-in days in various communities around the municipality. And those have been fairly well attended, so there's a schedule here of the posters for January, but there's a schedule here for February and March, if anybody's interested in seeing what they're doing. So the biggest crunch with this group, again, is that the province has mandated that the regional plan has to be submitted by April the 1st. So there's a lot of work being done to at least get kind of a high level piece out for the whole county, and then the municipal one will kind of feed off of that, and we're covered under that one, so we kind of squeak in under the,
So I don't have to work too hard.
no, no. So that those various plans, like staff take care of most of that documentation, so it's, yeah, it's an interesting group.
Okay, new business. Chester Fire Services Committee, you saw the draft budget, which, as you have been told, Kirk will present to us formally for our approval. Well, actually, I don't think we approved the budget. We approved the total amount or something.
Yeah,
They choose how they spend their money.
yeah, the commission and council have that last layer of approval.
Yeah. But I'm not clear if it's approval or simply we get to question it or something. I mean, they're an entity now.
No, we approve it. That came up with council.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay,
It is in the agreement, could they call it consideration and approval,
okay.
so.
Yeah, it's in the contract.
It certainly
is.
And I'd like, could you get a copy of the Chester Basin Fire Department budget, last year's budget for Randy? He's a numbers guy. I wanted to read
I
it.
don't know if I can, I know I
Yeah.
tried to get some last year, but they're not publicly released.
It is, no, it's public. The reason I'm asking you, Heather, because if I go through it, I have to jump through 3 hoops.
check
But
with
you
Bruce.
don't, it's all public. If someone calls and said they want to see the fire budget for Chester, last year's budget, you have to present it. It's not, you can't.
Once it's approved, it's public, but
Yeah, it's
right
a-
now, like our budget is not publicly available because it's not approved. But
Yeah.
if you ask for a previous budget that was passed and implemented, that budget is
You
available.
know, I did ask about this last year and didn't get very far, but I can try again.
Tell me if
Well-
you don't.
Okay.
Well, what I
Yeah,
was gonna
Chester
say is
Basin?
tell me if you don't.
Yes,
And I take it they lay it out in normal approved method like we do here. I
Yeah,
hope.
it's public. I'm talking last.
No, I mean in terms
And
of
it's public,
comparing.
yeah.
I assume you want me to compare it or
I
something,
want you
do
to
you?
compare it. Do-
So if it's all laid out the same way we lay
Well,
ours
there's no
out,
guarantee that it's exactly the
more or
same,
less,
but
I
it
mean,
will.
It's
I won't have
close.
Heather's
Close.
notes, which will be a problem because a lot of her notes explain what's, those-
Yeah.
I won't get that from them, and so it's gonna be a little hard to do if the formats don't match
Well,
up,
you'll
you know?
have big clumps like administration.
Yeah, okay.
You'll
yeah,
get the
yeah,
gist.
Yeah, probably, but it's so much nicer when they follow the book. That's like we're, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that, Randy.
Well, certainly, yeah, if you can get it, then, but I have to wait on the fire services, but, oh no, well, that's a draft
Yeah,
budget,
you-
that should do it, yeah.
It gives you. a
Yeah, yeah,
guideline.
okay.
Yeah.
it will be refined further, but it's pretty close.
Well, yeah, that might be enough to, and what am I looking for here?
Just
Tom?
You're gonna
Yeah,
see that the
overall.
Chester Basin and while every other fire is 1/3 of what we're paid for fire.
Oh, okay, I'm just not sure what I would be looking for,
Well,
you know?
just have a look and
Yeah.
maybe you're not looking for anything, just come up with this
Just look and
analysis
see
and
it.
tell us.
Okay.
See what you think.
But I needed a justification for the exercise. why would, and why am I
Well,
doing it?
Comparing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for instance, if we spend more money on training, that's not necessarily an inappropriate amount because we believe in more training, so.
Oh,
you
yeah,
have- you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
take
yeah.
into consideration what
Anyway,
we're doing.
Okay, now that I have no sense that I'm looking for some particular thing that they do better than us.
Okay, so Saltscapes, that sounds pretty fun, Heather, but again, it's a matter of time and,
Mhm.
Yeah, we would need to pull together some,
I mean, if we're going to do
A
it,
banner and
it
some
needs commissioners' involvement, not just staff, so.
So
Has
they're looking
everybody
for
read
someone
that?
to be there, I
Yeah.
believe,
And a
are
booth.
they
Yeah,
not?
For
yeah.
the, for the representing the village?
Yeah.
yes.
And does
Yeah, the village
MODC have a
commission,
table or
yeah.
no?
Yeah, it's economic development at
Right.
MODC has got a double booth.
Uh-huh.
And they've extended the invitation, like they're doing it for Tourism Chester.
Right.
And they've extended the invitation that the village can come and be represented there if someone would like to be there. It's in May. So there wouldn't be, they wouldn't, we wouldn't have to contribute any money for the booth, which is good because they're pretty
They're
pricey.
expensive, yeah.
They're pricey, but we would need to have a few materials that we could give out.
And a banner,
And a banner.
which would be a new cost, we don't have. one.
That would be something we could reuse.
Yeah.
Every time we have a public meeting.
Most organizations have a banner or two.
So are we gonna have to pick someone tonight or what?
No, but you're gonna have to say, if you're interested, be
Ah.
prepared
Ah.
that commissioners are gonna have to help with manning the booth.
A question,
I would-
do the businesses in town have booths?
They get invited to participate in that one as well, so some of them usually take them up on it. Which is kind of why we need to at
I
least
wonder
let
if we
them
can
know
get
if we're interested. so-
someone who owns a business, I mean, there's something in it for them.
Yeah, you'd think so.
And they'll dilute any representation that we may have. I mean, are they all under the same umbrella in the same booth?
Yeah,
The
unless
business people?
businesses have purchased their own,
Okay.
some of the smaller ones are part of the Tourism Chester.
Do we still have a lot of things left or not so much?
Yeah, there's some things.
So Gloria, did you say something about you being
Are you
interested?
interested yet in working with you?
It is nice to be able to, I mean.
Oh,
as I said
no,
in the
Gloria would be
report,
good at that.
It's nice to be able to talk to people, because people have questions about moving here or invitation. But
So we have interest,
I
as
have
long
no
as the dates line up.
Yeah, after May 3rd, I'm
It's,
okay.
we're in, is it May or somewhere?
Yeah. So I'm not saying yay or nay,
Yeah.
it's just, it's an interesting offer.
Okay, so
Okay,
you're,
so
you're
when do we
interested.
need
I'm
to tell them?
Yeah,
yes
we
or
got
no?
somebody, good.
If we
Give me the
decide,
stuff.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
I don't
Gloria,
have a deadline to tell them, but sooner than later, because they will be.
And you'll have to order the banner as well.
Yeah, and just,
The ideal one is one of those
Yeah.
ones that you open up,
the
right?
pop-up and it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, it's on a
Container.
stand and you
Yeah.
open it up and it's just,
yeah,
You don't want ones
That
that you have to
sounds
hang
like-
up.
yeah.
if Gloria's hot to go on that, I say we go ahead with it. then. It doesn't hurt anything, it's getting people to man the booths, that's
Yeah.
hard.
okay, Randy moves that we participate in the
Oh, yes, I do.
MOC booth.
I'll second.
Do you have that, copy that in here?
Okay,
Tom
Heather
seconded.
Heather has a much more formal wording of that, but it all reads the same. Okay, Randy and Tom,
Yeah.
moved and seconded the draft
Second your motion, whatever it says.
Yeah, yeah, they second
You know.
Heather's motion regardless of what it
Yeah,
says.
yeah,
Would
exactly,
we
yeah.
like to be there, because it's 3 days, do we wanna be there all three, just
So,
one?
May the 9th to May the 12th.
So it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, let me see, and where's this at?
It's at the
Exhibition.
exhibition center, the one,
Okay. Let's see.
the one near Bears Lake.
Oh, in Halifax, okay, or towards Halifax.
Even if you go for the Saturday, you don't have to go for 3 days.
Yeah, I don't know about 3 days.
Yeah,
that's
I don't have any issues, cause I have nothing on that.
Okay,
So you do all
Alright.
three, Gloria?
Yes, I do it all.
All right,
So did we land
thank you,
on
Gloria.
one day or
I'll
more?
go through the 3 days.
You'll go all three? Wow,
Yeah, who?
rock star.
Put her on the payroll.
Good,
Gotta cost you guys.
That's great.
well, you can claim your expenses now to go. to
Well,
it.
Miles,
Yeah, you get
One
mileage and you get a rate per day.
You get a rate per day too, Gloria. Don't forget to put your chit in.
And ordering some materials is not terrifically complicated. I can send around some suggestions and.
What materials would you want?
Oh, it's Mother's Day too.
Ooh,
Well, one of the things I actually rather like is just even those cards that we have, like
Yeah.
some kind of, just beauty shots of the village
yeah.
are always nice to give away as postcards with some information on the back.
sure.
Maybe we could have a basket,
Mm-hmm.
Chester stuff,
Mhm.
and people could enter, then you get their
That's a
email,
good
add
idea.
them to the
Yeah.
newsletter.
Yeah, go
And
around
some
to the
pins and
merchants
what
and
else
ask
that
them
we
for
got to give away
donation.
there.
Some
Postcards.
Merch, so
Yeah.
you can
Swag.
swag, swag.
Laura, I'll have the basket, I'll get a rope basket
Oh, yeah, from Rhonda.
from Rhonda.
Yeah.
And I'll donate that, and you go around and get some things to put in it.
And you could,
All right.
you
Oh,
could
so she
put,
said that
you could put
you know
Rhonda,
it. You know it.
you could put Rhonda's name, this
Yeah, but they
basket
have a-
made by
they have
Rhonda,
a-
our.
They
Yeah,
have little tags on them. and
yeah,
stuff.
that's nice,
That'd
nice,
be beautiful.
agree.
Yacht Club might have something that they could put, I don't know if they have any mugs or something.
No, they're all snobs at the yacht club.
Yeah.
I believe they were.
Those
And here I thought it was just a regular old yacht club. No.
Yeah, I'll have a basket there,
You can put a towel and a rag in the thing.
people could,
Yeah.
put their names in
Yeah,
and their emails, and
Little Mary Kay thing.
Is your name, email address or whatever, and phone number, and then,
Yeah, we've got a Mary Kay person
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, Mary
and I'll
Kay.
have stuff, I have stuff I can put in too.
I'll ask, I'll ask the
It's
yacht club.
it's a nice show.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had.
Heather, could you find out, the municipality, are they gonna have the overhead screens for some of those shots? That they have up at the lobby there, they got beautiful overhead shots.
I don't think so, but I'll check with Ashley.
That sells
Yeah,
Chester.
I mean,
Yeah, it does.
Rhonda and Denny made.
You wanna
made
sell
baskets.
Chester, you have that there.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
There.
I
And they
love
have
the ones
mats.
that the yacht club
They make
has
the
as a
mats.
I
race.
put a couple of those
Yeah.
cards on
Seen those?
Jane
Yeah.
on the back of there.
Yeah.
And Jim sent me a whack of
Spectacular.
other images too, so.
What's that?
They're spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll ask her to make.
Yeah,
see
it's
if we can make
professionally
it a
done
bigger
stuff,
basket.
Yeah, well, they're done from drones.
Yeah,
That sells Chester.
Jim used to do them, Jim, what's his
Sedgwick.
name? Sedgwick used to.
Yeah, Sedgwick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a
Or-
lot
and
of that.
I'll
He was a
actually-
balloon guy.
I'll talk to Rhonda.
Oh, that's right, he had a balloon, that's
Now
right.
it's all drones.
It was before drones came
Oh,
out, he
yeah.
do it
See if
with
I can
balloon,
get a
he had a
basket.
balloon.
That would be fun to
Bigger.
see.
And, or.
He was
if I
one of
can
the
get
first
a
to ever do
mat
that,
as well.
Yeah.
around
Then we
here.
could do
The
some
overhead
drones.
thing.
There's been aerial photographs,
Yeah.
of course, for years, but, yeah.
Okay, so everybody have your eyes and ears out for something you might put in Gloria's basket, okay?
Mm.
Okay, so 8.3 is the one that I added in, Visitors Information Center. I did a little bit of sourcing there. I talked to Gloria Noss and she offered us right off the bat. the
Carol
caboose. Carol Noss, right off the bat.
Same
Sorry
day.
about that, Gloria.
Oh my God,
What
what
did I do now?
now?
The caboose at Station 20, so I went up to have a look. It is dangerous.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no way
no.
that you could use that for a visitors information
Oh.
center. I mean, getting up those stairs and across that platform, it's a beautiful thing. And I was so intrigued by the idea. And I was so excited that I got there with that, holy mackerel. There is no way. I mean, somebody would break their leg almost.
Is a new
instantly.
platform not up there?
Yeah, the
Mike?
platform is there.
You can't
There's
just
stairs.
step, just
a step
That's where
going
we
up
have to use
into
to
it.
get
And
in.
It's gotta be accessible.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, we could have figured out a way to make it accessible, but it's not accessible to normal humans, let
Oh.
alone anybody else. I mean, I had trouble getting up those stairs and
Oh,
across the
okay.
platform and into
The stairs on the car itself.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Anyway, it was a lovely idea. It
Oh,
just
would've
did
been
not
great.
work. So then they also offered, and I do apologize, Heather, I didn't bring that document with me, but I got in touch with the folks that have this little heritage shed shop here in Chester. It's part of a chain.
The
They
little
built
garden
these-
shed
it would-
people
Yeah,
up
and they
there.
like
Oh,
do
the
the
premier
cedar
stores.
shapes with
Yeah.
windows in them. And I thought, maybe, because they offered us then a place in front of Station 20 that we could put a shed and we could make it accessible and so on. So I got in touch with the girl. She was somewhere down in Barbados or someplace, but bless her heart, because we only had one day to get the thing in. And she sent us an estimate for about $10,000. And then subsequently, I was talking to Laura, who knows somebody in New Ross who may be able to do it for substantially less and also a nice shed. So that is kind of standing as a possibility, but quite frankly, we got the idea too late to really implement it this year. However, if we want to consider running something out of this office in some way, shape, or form, I had a meeting with Brian Webb, who's the director of the economic development, and Ashley Marlin, who's one of the officers there. And if we can get something together, they apparently may let us have part or all of one of their students. So if we want to think about that, then I will
I'm
continue.
sorry, who's he?
He's the director of the economic development for the municipality.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and Ashley works for him. She's
Oh,
one of
okay.
his
Because for a while they
officers.
had a roving tourism ambassador.
Well, they
Didn't
still
really-
theoretically do,
Yeah,
except
and
that it
didn't
doesn't work.
So I think
Yeah.
they'd like to here, you take it here,
Yeah.
take our person.
They're-
So that
they're trying
roving
to
person will
pretend-
roll here.
Yeah, they're trying to pretend it still works, but Brian was too happy to offer me that student. So, if you all feel that it's worth my time, because I mean, this is 10 hours in now. I will continue to pursue and see if we can get something. It's very short notice to get something like this. Normally you would have a lead time of about 12 months to start to put things together. So I'd like to do it on 2 tracks, trying to get something together and budget for a shed at Station 20 that's accessible and so on, but for the next fiscal year, not this year. But then perhaps do something this year out of our front office, who may even displace poor Maxine and bring her back here.
We've got that extra room there.
Well, that's true. We'll
Yeah.
work on the details. I'm not worried about the details at this point. But the other thing that I would like to spend some money on for this year, but it will be continuing, is a big sign. So I'd like a signage budget. You don't have to give it to me at this meeting because I haven't got enough information to give you for estimates and so on, but I would like us to consider a signage budget for this year that's strictly directed to getting people down to the village. So it's a 2-pronged attack that I'm trying to do, get something going plus signage for this year, and then working on a more permanent thing that we can have as a visitor information center whose role in life is not Mahone Bay but Chester, East Chester, Chester Basin, Marriott's Cove, like our community. So even though they're not in our voting group, but that, the Chester area, maybe from East River to, I don't know, Western Shore or something. I'm not quite sure. You guys can decide
Oak
how far
Island or
you
something
want
would
it.
be good.
Yeah, Oak Island. You guys can decide how far you want it to go on either side.
And if we do something here, we do get the student this summer.
If we do something here, at least part-time, possibly full-time, but yes.
Okay.
So
I mean, we won't do it if we don't.
Yeah, okay.
excuse me, oh, sorry, did you have to speak to that particular
I
thing?
did actually
Okay.
on the student front, because when I sent in the application back in December for lifeguards, I also put in a request for a student to work on records management.
Oh, good for you.
Which may or may not take place this year, and if we were to get that person, I don't know if we could redeploy them, but it would be worth an ask if we happen to get it. I just don't know yet.
They get a fussy about that, but you never know.
Yeah.
So we'll continue on of taking advantage of the municipality's offer, and if that doesn't work, then we'll renegotiate. I'm pretty good at negotiating with bureaucrats. We'll see what we can do there.
Were you, when you were in contact with the lady from the shed place,
Yeah.
were you looking at having something custom built? Or
No, they have.
taking one of their
They make
sheds?
them.
And putting
Okay,
extra windows.
And
in it.
what square footage did you have
Tiny.
in mind? Yeah, but if it's too tiny,
It wasn't too
there's
tiny.
no
It
place
was
for them to
safe.
come in and.
No, twice the size of this table, which gives you plenty of room for a reception desk, shelves around. and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
on.
like I say, if you're gonna have somebody there,
big
So
table.
2020,
Oh, okay.
20 by 20 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's probably, because you need room for
But you don't want it too big either.
pamphlets and
Yeah.
stuff like that. No, but
Like
you,
you can just build in shelves all the way around that are slanted, so all the walls are shelves.
but if you get a
essentially.
couple of couples in there, you're gonna fill it at that point.
Believe me, that will not be a problem.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The other couples who come along behind them will have to wait for space then if that's the
They're
case.
right opposite Station 20, that beautiful train museum. We can keep them busy, don't worry.
Oh, no, I mean in terms of people getting inside the building to look at the pamphlets and do things and talk to the
Randy,
girl
you
and.
Trust me.
Yeah, we were told.
Right. I
Randy.
would withdraw the question.
Come on, Eeyore, come on.
Can I make one, you brought up signage.
Yes, sorry, no, I got distracted there for a minute.
Sorry about that.
Can it be tastefully done?
Well, I won't do anything without bringing it back to the
I'll
group,
give you
because
an
I have to give
example, when I
budget.
was gonna hope that maybe we could get Laura to talk to the merchants. We
Oh,
spend a
Laura and I
fortune
are
on
planning
flower
that.
baskets.
Yeah,
Chester is beautiful. And they stick that god awful banner up at the
Yeah.
intersection. People do not come to Chester to look at ugly banners.
For the race week, you mean?
Well, Race Week had it and they had tied into the theater.
Mm.
It's terrible. At least my nephew used to put one up for the Blue Noses. I was able to convince him that don't put it up. It's ugly.
well, the signage that I had in mind is I was hoping to have Colin let me put up, you know, the fire department
Yeah.
signs. I was hoping to get Colin to let me put up one for the Chester Village on the other end of that piece of property.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, where the firemen are.
Yeah, and then I thought if I was really nice, then we might even pay for it. You never know.
You were complaining about that in our report.
Yeah, I
saw
know.
that.
Yeah, I know, there are some people who are not
Oh.
happy about
Oh
it.
my God.
I don't want them.
What?
The hero thing, I think they hate that, don't you think?
No, I
Hero
think it's
thing.
great.
Well, I was just thinking of the size
I know,
of
you want
getting
the
the
spots,
humans
yeah.
down. But the other thing that I have in the back of my mind, many of you, I'm sure, have driven through Hubbard's. And when they consolidated all their signage, and they're quite large blue signs with white printing on them. And they direct you to the museum, to the market, to restaurants and so on. I thought that I would also talk to, I have the name of the person who organized that. And I thought I'd get some photos of it and some costing and bring that back to you for your consideration too, because then we could actually have the merchants tie into it and buy into it and pay for their own sign.
Mm.
So we could have some very attractive signs going, you know, go down to the Folksel Tavern or go down to wherever. And does anybody have a vision in their head of those signs from Hubbard's? No?
Are those locally produced or is that part of Halifax County's?
No, this is
They're-
on our side.
Okay,
The
because
Halifax County
they
starts
had
where
those
the
blue
ambulance,
signs
yeah.
and
Where
stuff.
would I see these signs?
When, just before you get to exit 6 and you turn this way,
Yeah.
then on this side of the road, they took down all of the accumulation of millions
Oh,
of signs and then they re-put up these
Okay,
signs. And
go
they
look.
start at about exit 6 and then they carry on like every 150, 200 yards
Okay.
until you get to Aspetogan Heritage Center. So if you're going that way, anytime in the next month, kind of, you know, try to get your mind to look at those. The print is quite large and.
Easy to read.
Yeah, easy to read and they're stacked nicely. I think that they're quite attractive.
Okay, I'll go up.
Yeah, and I'll, of course, I will take pictures of them and bring them in.
There's one right there by the trail, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
But the accessibility standards for signs in built environment, actually, built environment kicked them over to the information and communications group, so. But some of those height things already exist under, like from the.
Question for Heather on that, the signage.
Yeah.
Do we as a village have the authority to have a bylaw on signage?
No.
I don't believe so, no.
No,
Can't
We
we'd
can
have
only
to
do a
neg-
bylaw about tax reduction.
Yeah, we'd have to negotiate, like if we're putting it, for instance, on Highway 3, we have to negotiate.
No, I
with
was thinking
Department
of the sign, that
Transportation.
ugly sign. If we can't convince them, it's
Oh,
a
I see
poor
what you
taste,
mean, I
say,
see. Yeah.
look, put it up a week before the event, and it's gotta
And
come
then
down a
take it
week
down.
after. This one here, it was a month out.
I'm pretty sure that's municipality.
And I thought it was terrible, and I
Signage is in
sail,
the
I'm a yacht club member, the whole bit, it's terrible.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
So,
Let's clarify who has the authority about that, please, Heather. I'm pretty sure it's a
Yeah,
municipality.
signage is in the land use
Yeah.
bylaw.
When we talk to Robin, let's talk to her about how
Yeah.
the merchants feel about that too.
and there was something that somebody wanted to put up a banner for, I don't know what, maybe the Santa Claus thing or something, but they weren't allowed to put it there because of the power pole.
Mhm.
And there was a box, maybe a junction
Yeah, you always
box,
have
so
to get
there
a
was,
permit from
so there
Nova
was
Scotia
something
Power.
funny
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it, so.
Yeah, and you have to get a permit because they have to wrap.
Yeah.
And that's. not
And in
something
fact,
you can
Nova
do
Scotia
quickly.
Power comes, the only reason I know this is because the yacht club, Nova Scotia Power comes and actually puts up the banner.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's terrible.
I know, I know, it's not attractive at all. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we need a motion for that because we're not spending any money or anything, but you've given me permission to proceed, now bring something back to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so Commissioner Roundtable, or do you want to go straight to in camera?
In camera.
Yeah.
I got nothing exciting to report.
Okay, we require a motion to go in camera because we need to turn off. Thank you, Laura.
I'll
Thank you.
second. Oh, okay.
Right. No, Gloria was first.
Okay, I didn't
That
notice
was my
it.
first motion tonight, I wanna make sure I look like it was at the meeting.